grateful and thankful to be here, to be the head coach at Tennessee, and that our team is playing. We're still playing in March.
Left aisle.
Hi, Kim. Excuse me. Chapel Fowler with the State Newspaper in Columbia. With Talasia Cooper, just take me through, when you first got to Tennessee, what'd you know about her? How did the process go of getting her to stick around, and what has she meant to y'all this year?
She's an incredibly important part of our team. When we first got here, she was just a little bit nervous. She hadn't played for a year, and she was nervous about getting back on the floor, and she put a lot of pressure on herself. And so to see what she has done this year and how she's really helped our team in every aspect of rebounding, getting steals, helping spark our defense. She's sharing the ball really well now. Just to see her evolution from how nervous she was when we first got here is something that's been really special.
Back right.
In the back. Ben Pickman with The Athletic. You weren't on the sideline the last time, obviously, that you guys played Texas, but how involved were you in prep for that game, and what do you think it will be like for you now to be on the sideline against them in the tournament?
Yeah, I was not very involved in the prep on that one. I was a little bit busy. But, it was interesting to sit at home and watch it and to yell at your team through the TV like a fan as opposed to a coach. And we did go back and watch the film and just treated it like a normal game prep sense.
Behind you, please.
Cora Hall with the Knox News Sentinel. You talked a little bit about Jillian Hollingshed last weekend, how she just has looked so good and pretty consistently confident for you guys on the court. Can you just talk about her kind of evolution in that aspect this year? Because her first 2 years here weren't, probably what she envisioned, and just what it was like to help her kind of find her confidence again this season.
Yeah, I'm really proud of her, and I think last 2 games she was incredibly aggressive going to the rim, rebounding, and we're going to need that out of her as we go forward. Rebounding again is going to be important. Texas is a big team. She's going to have to be physical and strong on the inside, but her journey and her growth has been great, and she's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person to coach. She's fun. She's consistent. She's the same every day. She's a caring, thoughtful human being, and her teammates are happy for her. Her teammates see how much better she's gotten, and they cheer her on in practice, and that's really nice to see.
To the right.
Hey, Coach. Luke Lamory here, the Volunteer Channel. Obviously, we mentioned that you weren't on the court last game that we played that the Vols played Texas, of course. How has your squad helped you prepare for this as a coach?
Yeah, they talk about what they saw. They talk about what needs to change. And anytime you're coaching young people, you want to be a teacher first and just to listen to them and get their feedback and their thoughts about what needs to go differently this time around is something we ask.
Here to your left.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the Associated Press. Dawn was saying yesterday how the SEC has prepared you guys well for March Madness and for such. Obviously, tomorrow you have 2 SEC teams, so that probably doesn't help you as much since they're in the same boat. But how good has this conference been to get everyone ready to keep playing since you have so many teams still going here in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, the SEC is a powerhouse of a conference, and every night you got to show up and play. And so when you talk about what it takes to win in March, you got to rebound, you got to be physical, you have to be strong on the glass. I think all of those things are going to be really important for us, and the SEC has definitely prepared us for that.
Right aisle.
Jack Church with the Daily Beacon. With the challenge of how good Texas is inside, how are you expecting to handle that from a defensive standpoint, and who's going to have to step up in that situation?
Everyone's going to have to step up. Our bigs are going to have to be big, but our guards are also going to have to get in there, and it's going to have to be a focused effort, and we're not going to get every rebound. They averaged 17 offensive rebounds a game. They had 25 second chance points the last time we played them. I don't know how capable we are, but we're going to have to try harder. We're going to have a more focused effort on the glass if we want the result to be different.
Far right.
Hi, Coach. Alana Sins with the AP. Kind of sticking to that, how different is it, or what's the approach to preparing for a team that does not rely or shoot the three-pointer much, but so good in so many other categories?
Yeah, it's very different for us because we guard each other every day in practice, and we obviously shoot a lot of threes, so we're spaced out a little bit more. And so you come into games like this, and where you protect the rim more than you protect the three-point line, it is a little bit of an adjustment for us on the defensive end. So you just got to make sure that you know your personnel. You got to know who you're closing out to.
Aisle on the left.
Hey, Coach. Riley with WVLT. You talked about body language being a huge thing the other day at the press conference. Did you see good body language the first 2 rounds with your team?
I did. I saw great body language, and we showed that on film, and hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Right here. Right aisle.
I'm not sure if you had seen yesterday, Vic Schaefer was talking about the matchup and what he called the storyline of your hockey substitutions is how he worded it. And he said that if he was yanking his kids, they'd be pissed at him. They like to play. I'm just curious, like, what your response is to that, and just maybe what you've heard about maybe people who question the way you do things or the way you sub, and it's landed you in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him on that. Sometimes you get asked the question about your subs a lot, and it's not the storyline. Your kids are out there just playing basketball. And so, yeah, we have different philosophies. We play at different paces, but there's really not much of a story there.
Do we have any questions on Zoom? We do. Okay, Maria.
Maria Cornelius, 247 Sports, Tennessee. Coach, I want to follow up on the shoes just because of Ruby Whitehorn. She put up a video that she may go in 2 different color shoes, like bright green or something. I expected her to wear the purple ones that she begged to wear earlier in the season. I know you said you don't remember saying it, but the team remembered it. Just how is this team motivated by quirky things like that, particularly Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby, I think, just likes to do anything that's going to bother me. And so that's why she's doing the 2 different shoes. And good for her, right? They earn that. If that's what they want, that's what they can do. I don't really think it affects how they play on the floor. So if that's something you have to do to motivate them, fine by me.
Any more questions in here?
Kim, how has this season for you coaching at Tennessee played out compared to the way you thought it might when you took the job?
When I got the job, I think my goal was to make it to the Sweet 16. I thought, after seeing what we had on the roster, and I didn't know comparatively, right? You can see on film, but you don't really know until you get in the thick of it. And when we watched some practices and we putting our roster together, I thought, okay, maybe we can be a top 15 team in the country. And that's honestly what I thought. And then early on, our games, the way we were playing, I'm like, okay, we probably can be a top 15 team in the country. Something we've wanted all year was to be a top 10 team in the country. And so we got to 11, and then we kind of fell apart a little bit. And so we've had multiple opportunities to be in the top 10. We beat Connecticut, we could have gone to LSU, beat LSU, and then probably been in the top 10. We could have done it the slow way and just finished out our season the way we should have, hoped a couple other people came down and been in the top 10 there. And it never quite happened for us. So it would be kind of a nice little storyline of, hey, we did it at the right time. I don't know if we can do it or not, but to be in the top 8 would be great. We have an opportunity to play for that. I think we were playing better than we have been in the past.
On the aisle to your right.
Kind of going off that, you talk about you saw what their potential was, and I know Wednesday you're talking about last year as a mid-major, you kind of know your ceiling, right? Do you feel like this team has raised its ceiling from maybe earlier in the season of what you saw in them, or what you think they're capable of?
I would like to think we're peaking at the right time. I think that's the beautiful thing about March Madness. You got to play great for 6 games, and that is what it is. So I do think our last 2 games are the best basketball we have played. It's looked the way I wanted it to look. But again, you can't take a breath. You've got to continue to go forward, and you never know what you're going to get. So you have to just hope that momentum continues.
Back right.
Maybe the answer is no, but have you picked the brains of either other people with the program or just other mentors or coaches you look up to just about how to plan out a routine or schedule, in the lead up between the second round and the Sweet 16, or just, what is different in terms of prep to get to this point or look forward?
No, I think I've just done what I've done in the past. At Division II, I know it's different, but the calendar's still kind of the same. You still kind of have these breaks going in between, and I think the most important thing is that you have that high energy in March and you're having fun.
Right here on that.
Coach, maybe the answer is no, but are you focused at all on the portal at this point with it being open Tuesday, and do you think still being in the tournament puts you at any disadvantage as far as the portal goes?
I think that being in the tournament gives you a great advantage. I mean, you're a team still playing. If you have players that want to transfer to a winning program, then you want to kind of wait for the teams that are still playing, and we have a staff that can handle that. I'm focused on Texas.
Coach, you started SEC play here in Birmingham on October 16th. You played, you started SEC tip-off here in 2025 back in October. How does it feel to be back in Birmingham for business?
I love Birmingham. I don't know that we've been here, but I, as a coach, and two of my assistant coaches have won a Division II national championship here. So it's nice to be back in the city of Birmingham.
Okay, we'll go back to the Zoom to Maria for our final question.
Coach, anytime you change jobs, it's a whirlwind, but I can't think of a year that a head coach at a new school has had the year you have had, from the surprise of getting contacted by Tennessee to getting hired by Tennessee to becoming pregnant to having a child. Just when this season is over, how much are you just going to take the time to try to get your arms around everything that has happened?
You know, I've been asked this question all year, and I'm finally to the point towards the end of the season that I can have an answer, and my answer is I'm just thankful and grateful. To be the head coach of this program, it was something I could not wrap my head around until about right now. And to want a baby your whole life, and then God gives it to you right as you're the most stressed you've ever been, and you're like, well, we're doing this now. Your kind of eyes are wide open, and you're coaching pregnant, and then you're coaching in postpartum, and now that we're kind of through it and we have a routine, I think God knew exactly what he was doing, and I'm thankful for that. I appreciate that, and I'm just thankful to be the head coach at Tennessee, and it's nothing other than that, and it's a great program, and I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to coach the players that I coach, and it's been an amazing ride, and I hope that we can keep it going for as long as we can, because I'm not quite ready to stop coaching these players yet.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.